Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, and welcome. My name is Ali Cara. Where am I? There I am. We're working with this brand new Be Live, and I have a very special guest here on Unleash Your Light with me. Let's see if I can figure out how to bring my lovely guest up into focus. Let's see here now. Are you there?
I believe I'm here.
One.
Now?
Yes.
Coming out from the curtains.
All right, everyone. It is Emily Harrison. Welcome to Emily. Yay. All right, let's make sure that we're live. Oh, I see Leanne there, so we must be live. Please jump in, say hello to each other. This is a fabulous place to be. You might find that person that matches you so well. You're looking for that tribe of like-minded people. That's right here at the Akashic Academy, you guys, okay? So if you are watching here at the Akashic Academy, make sure that you jump in. Make sure that you say hello. Make sure that you participate with each other because we are all made better by this community. And this community is the brainchild of Miss Emily. And I am so excited to be here on this channel and to be able to broadcast, and grateful for the opportunity to move over into a brand new space. And now we're a year and a half, almost 2 years in for you. And it's very exciting. So for those of you who are watching on my Unleash Your Light channel, let me see. I don't know how to get your name up there. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Emily. Oh, there
it is.
There's your name. I'm getting the hang of this. Let me tell you, I'm getting the hang of this. It's not easy, but I'm working on it. And then if we go over to that one, let's see. I'm gonna try. Wait a minute. Let's put my name up there too, so people
get your name up there too. I'm just gonna adjust my wardrobe person didn't adjust me before we hit go. I just need to fix that a little bit there.
All right. So, welcome to Unleash Your Light. I'm super excited to have you here this morning.
I'm so excited to hang out with you. It's been a while since we've been able to have a heart-to-heart and face-to-face and eye-to-eye connection. The first thing Lee said to me this morning was, "Do you know the name of my show?" I'm like, maybe
you a blast. Come on, yeah. I was not going to put you on blast. You are so humble to put yourself out there.
Oh man, that's the way I roll. It pretty much my teaching style is let's get vulnerable, let's get naked, let's talk about what we're going through, let's work it out together, let's find this freedom. I love that we're talking about freedom today. And thank you for having me and letting me share this time with your audience, because I know you don't only hang out here at the Akashic Academy Network. You have a beautiful entourage and community who loves you, who you've brought into this space for us to be able to connect with. So thank you for having me.
I appreciate that. My people over at Unleash Your Light and anyone who's over on my friend page, we are just like that, like with what you're doing, where we're paying attention to all of that emotional stuff. We splat it right out there. If we make a mistake, how else do you learn, right? How else do you learn?
You know, there's a story that has just always touched my heart about a tribe in Africa. And when one of the members of the tribe commits some kind of an egregious action or an error or something that causes shame, frustration, anger, instead of reprimanding, instead of punishing in this tribe, what they do is they bring that person to the center of the tribe and everyone gathers around and sings that person's soul song back to them. Like, that is powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like once we create the space to have a safe vessel where we can share what's truly like these, as we're stripping away, it becomes powerful. That's what we're doing in these communities. We're singing our soul song back to each other.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, I've told that story here before.
Oh, yeah, I like that story too.
Ubuntu, Ubuntu, Ubuntu is that tradition of doing that. And I find that fabulous because when we misstep, we're following that negative narrative and that place of pain inside of us. And so to be surrounded by the people who love you and who support you to get you back on that right path, that would be very nice in our regular lives, wouldn't it?
If that was the norm.
Yeah. It would be amazing. Instead, what we get is cheerleaders who go, that's right, screw them. He's a jerk. Go burn his car, throw his clothes out, whatever it is. Like, people want to rev you up.
Yes.
To justify your anger, and that kind of ties into this 4th of July theme of freedom and liberation, because we want to be liberated from that need for that revenge, that need for those patterns, that need for that support that is not support. That support that is actually like tying rocks around your arms and your legs, that's weighing you down instead of lifting you up. But before we jump into our discussion of liberation and freedom, it is the 4th of July. And here in the States, we celebrate Independence Day. So happy 4th, y'all. Anyone who is here, who is from the States. Right. And if you're not from the States, you can still celebrate freedom and liberation. Just because it's the holiday here in the States doesn't mean that you can't celebrate it also. Although if fireworks are illegal in your community, please don't light off fireworks and break the law. So that's like a
no law breaking announcement. Everybody, right. No law breaking.
So what I wanted to do while I have you here, Ms. Emily, is to have you chat about this month's our magazine. I was kept thinking article, volume of this month's magazine, which is beautiful.
I know I had to get the right lingo too.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here at the Academy. We got a network, we got a magazine. So I have to switch back and forth. Are we in TV land? Are we talking episodes? Sometimes I say episodes. We got a new episode. And I'm like, no, wait, hang on. Let's switch gears. We're voguing out here with it truly is an incredible piece of art.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Creates for us.
So beautiful.
And I'm calling them editions or volumes. That's kind of the lingo that I'm settling into.
I will use that as well.
But yes, we have a new edition out. I want to invite each and every single one of you to check out your free download. I will grab the link right now to our website so you can go to the AkashicAcademy.com, scroll down. You're going to find a link where you can enter your email. We will send you a download of this magazine, 62 pages of incredible articles. We don't just write articles for you guys. Let me tell you something. Bridget knows how to run a magazine. She makes sure that our contributing editors are sharing how-tos, sharing methodologies, steps, practical tips that you as the reader can take to shift your life. So this isn't just about a woo-woo feel-good magazine. This is about education. And it's about inspiring and uplifting our community. The beautiful thing is that this is a gift. This is a free gift. So not only do I want to share it with you today, but I want to invite you to share it with your community as well. So I'm going to grab this link real fast.
Well, I have the AkashicAcademy.com at the.
Oh, you have it there for us. Okay, yes, wonderful.
It's up on the screen right now, so they'll be able to find it. I put up on the screen every show, the AkashicAcademy.com. Don't forget the "the," or else you go somewhere else. I have an article in there this month. But the topic of the magazine, while there's a big chunk of it that's on channeling, is also about freedom, about liberation. And when I think of freedom, yes, we're on the 4th of July. And yes, it's, about freedom from oppression and tyranny back in the 1700s. For me, freedom is representing the shedding of the conditioning, the shedding of those thought patterns and those feelings about myself and how I fit into the world, because those ideas, misguided though they were, is what has shaped my journey through my life. And as I've changed that perception and been dropping those chains of conditioning and the way that I felt I was and how I fit in, as I'm shifting those, I'm finding that the journey in front of me literally changes, almost like stepping into a new timeline, because my reality and my belief system is different each time that I drop a chain, each time that I let go of a piece of conditioning and find a little freedom. Are you finding that as well?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love how you said it. As soon as we drop an attachment, as soon as we drop an old program, you instantly shift. Your perspective instantly shift, which makes the world around you instantly look different. This is instant manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
This is that timeline jumping. This is how you step into a dimension of a different reality of this hologram that we're experiencing. You can tune into so many different matrix arrangements.
Right. If we want to, I don't get too woo-woo. I usually don't go real woo-woo on here. I usually stick with the feelings. But in this particular thing, I've had this conversation several times, and not everyone agrees with me. But if you think about time, how every single eventuality that could possibly happen already exists as a reality. If you are into the multiverse, and like literally taking a step to the right creates another huge branch of possibilities. Okay. So if we have this thought of the lifetime that we want to live or the way that we want to feel about ourselves, then it should be as simple as that shift of our own frequencies and our own beliefs about the world that's around us that will shift us from timeline to timeline. And while it doesn't always stick the whole time, I almost feel like for a little while, I'll jump into one timeline and everything's going great and I'm in the zone. And then my thinking gets a little clogged up and I kind of click back down into a lower gear, like driving a stick shift.
It's totally like driving a stick shift. I like to think of it as a Rubik's Cube too. It's like there are lots of pieces that need little twisting and adjusting. And those are the patterns. Like if you find yourself tuning in, not in your reality, but in your imagination to an existence that you're not currently experiencing. Mm-hmm. First of all, I agree with you. That does exist somewhere in the multiverse. If something does not exist, we cannot have a concept of it.
Right.
So the fact that you have a concept, it's illuminated in your imagination, in your mind in some way, means that exists somewhere. Everything is connected. You would not have that thought or that illumination if that possibility were not a possibility, if that didn't exist for you.
Right. And time isn't linear.
Time is not linear
all the time. So everything that is happening right now because there's no past and there's no future. It's a memory of now. So everything is happening right now. So that's why
I got a woo-woo trophy for that one. That one was so woo-woo. If you're grounded, you get woo-woo trophy today.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank Emily for giving me the woo-woo trophy. Speaking of Emily, Brittany and Jason, that's her actual name. I guess that it's not one person. She had a session with you and it was amazing and plans on having more sessions in the future. If you would like to have sessions with Emily, you can go to the AkashicAcademy.com and you can learn to read Akashic Records and you can take all kinds of great classes in that little extra section, that exclusive group that I talk about every single week, y'all. You need to be there because this is the kind of stuff like, okay, I'm not so woo-woo and I make it a little goofy. Emily's a little goofy, but she does get serious on the other side, talking about this type of stuff, talking about these vibrations and this shift. And this is why I think that the discussion about freedom and liberation is so important, connected to this, because many of us feel like we're free. I'm 48, almost 49 years old. I make my own decisions. I had a conversation with someone the other day. That's right. You know why I do this? You know why I wear blue lipstick? Because I'm a grown woman and I'll make my own decisions. You know why I'm going to sleep all day? Because I'm a grown woman. I make my own decisions, whatever it is, right? And we feel like that's freedom. And yet, even in those freedoms that we find as we mature as people, as we become grown-ups, as we, adult in this world, those freedoms are almost, I don't want to say they're an illusion, but they're just the little tiny beginning of freedom, because true freedom is dropping the conditioning. True freedom is embracing the divine that's already inside of us and letting go of the things that keep us separated from that.
If you find that you do not have a choice in how you react when you're triggered, your ass ain't free. That's all I'm saying. That's what freedom is. Freedom is when, can you look at yourself in the mirror or not in the mirror, wherever? Can you just look at yourself? Can you really say to yourself, I can choose my own behavior in every single moment. I can choose my thoughts. If your thoughts are still thinking you, if you tune in and you're like, oh, maybe that was just a train of bad negative thoughts. I just thought, you're not free yet. That's okay. We're working on it. But that's where, these are the questions you need to ask yourself to find out how free you really are. If you're working on autopilot, this means that you've not stripped away the conditioning. Let's talk a little bit more about like the conditioning. What is in your vocabulary, in your experience, Lee, what is the conditioning? Where do we get it?
I think most of it, a lot of it comes from our childhood experiences, and they come from the world around us. And I almost, a part of me thinks like they're almost built into us as humans, because this is the journey that we are supposed to be going through.
Genetic.
It's overcoming this, learning this, you know, so we are here literally to go through these things, through them, not to suffer, but to go through them to the other side. See, experiencing something is different than going through it. When you're going through it, you're learning, you're moving forward, you're paying attention, and you're going to get to the other side.
I heard that.
Instead of being in a loop, instead of sitting in it, instead of suffering. Because while we may be able to suffer, we are not built for suffering. And yet our minds grab on to anything that we can punish ourselves for. So a lot of the conditioning is just learning punishment. Because when we're little kids and we do something wrong, we get punished. We might get smacked. We might get our hands slapped. We might get yelled at. And even when there's no adults around to do that, we continue to punish ourselves throughout our lifetime. And that's one of the biggest chains that you can drop, is to stop with the self-judgment and stop with the self-punishment. And this, because we'll sabotage what we're doing as a form of punishment, because we feel that even when nobody saw what we did wrong, we were there. I know that I stole that piece of candy when I was 5. So now I'm never going to have money. And every time I get money, I'm going to sabotage it. And I'm going to make sure that all my money drains right out the hole where that little piece of candy was stuck in my experience of having money and not having money. You know?
Candy when you were 5?
I did not. No, that's
I
not
did.
Oh, you did?
I totally did. Yes.
Well, there you go. See, now
I need to go back and clear that.
Right
I
there.
told funny stories about it, but I haven't gone back and ever really cleared it. Maybe. Okay. Note to self. Hang on.
It's those silly little things that create such a huge impression on us. And parents, especially, I mean, I'm in my 40s. You're younger than me. Parents.
In my 40s too, though. I own that.
A little younger 40s, but still in your 40s. There you go. We look like we're in our 20s. I know you're all in. I can't believe they're 40 something, right? But our parents don't know how to correct that, because their goal is for us to behave and not bother them in their adult life. Now, we in this age are a little bit more, we pay more attention to our kids. We are more interested in their emotional, you know, their mindset and what's important to them. But even as an awakened person, it is difficult to know how other people are interpreting what we're doing. And so even the most loving parent can contribute to a punishment scenario in a person's head, can contribute to making these shackles, because each person interprets things in a different way. I have a friend who, her mother is incredibly wonderful, smothering all the time. She's always smothering her, like, I don't mean like with a pillow, but I mean like, oh, you need me to do this? And here, let me come and clean your house. No, it just needs a little bit of this. And she's like, Mom, oh my God, just stop. Like, for her, it's created this sense of entitlement, and it's created this anger whenever someone tries to do something for her. And the mother just thinks, I'm doing this, I'm loving her, and I don't understand why she gets so mad. We don't know how what we're doing as parents fits into what they're doing as kids. And yet we are creating these shackles, but the children are creating the shackles without even realizing it. Like with your, you know, stealing, when, you know, with, I almost think sometimes it's something that's not even said to a child, something that a child overhears, like something's not right about that girl. And her entire life, or his entire life, will now go down that path of always feeling like everyone is looking at me and they all know there's something wrong with me. And what is it that's wrong with me? Because kids will take things literally. These simple things create these chains. They create a lot of our conditioning. And then society piles onto that with how you should look and how much money you should have and what job you should have and how you should be looking at things. Like everything in our society creates more and more chains and shackles and bars and, right down to actual bars. So, I mean, it's a very interesting that we are a free will planet with as much freedom. We could have as much freedom as we want. And yet, as a collective, we still choose to be in chains, right?
Well, once we begin to see, do you guys hear that echo or is that just on my side?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay, you don't hear it. Good. Once we begin to recognize where that conditioning is and where we've taken on, like you said, you could hear, so over here, in the back of your ears, I don't know if that's really a thing, like the back of your mind, somebody saying something like that.
Yeah.
And you do carry that. And it gets so stuffed down. It gets stuffed into your physical organs, guys. It gets stuffed in the lungs, the heart, the kidneys, the spleen, the gallbladder, the liver.
Yeah.
Variety of different places. And what begins to happen is because it's stuffed in there, you kind of think that you took care of it. It's hidden down in there. But on an energetic level, the cell is replicating that energetic memory, and you are continuing to play it out in subconscious patterning. How the hell are you going to find out what these things are? This is where you have to have a practice that will allow you to calm your mind, calm your emotions. If you have a cluttered mind or cluttered emotions, it's going to clutter your intuition. But the answers are inside of you. I go to a space called the Akashic Records where every detail, past, present, and future is stored. You can talk to yourself. You can talk to your cells. You can go into the records. You can talk to source. Just ask.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing, is that it's so simple to literally get some answers. And yet people will spin and spin. I don't know how to do this. And I don't understand why it's not working. And I don't understand why I'm still getting mad. Or I don't understand. Literally ask and listen.
Yes.
Ask and then listen. And it takes practice. I talked about this last week's show was about the power of silence. And what I talked about on that show is that you really do need that silence. And I don't just mean noise. I mean silence in your mind to hear that voice of divine, because it's like one instrument in a cacophony of an orchestra that's warming up. And so you have to find that one voice that is in there. But as soon as you hear it, now you can't hear anything else. Now that's all you hear. Now that voice pops out at you so clearly. And that's the answers are like literally right there. Now we may not like to hear the answers. And for a lot of people, that's where one of those chains is. Sometimes our very knowledge creates a chain because we in our I am so awakened and I already know and it's all love and light will refuse to look at certain places within ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And try to spiritually bypass with every ritual and every new magic and every new, it's wonderful to learn all that stuff. But if you're learning all that stuff to run away from yourself, then you are literally in that space of spiritual bypass, which actually adds yet another chain to you.
It can be, this is where it can be really valuable to reach out to somebody like Lee, somebody like me, somebody in the academy, because going through this and trying to dissect all of it by yourself can be a very, very big job. But we're here to hold powerful space and guide you through the process. So once we begin to find those areas where it's been hidden so deeply that we've been holding these old subconscious patterns, I found one recently for myself that was so deep. Like you said, I think that it was so deeply hidden. I was trying to spiritually bypass year number 26 of my life. It has taken me many, many years of doing this practice. I'm 42 now, so do the math. I don't do a lot of math. I get my calculator out here. But I realized that there was so much pain and shame and humiliation. And I'll share a little bit about what I realized that I had held that year. But it's taken me this long to get to the point in my own spiritual growth and journey where I can truly love myself and have enough compassion to say, let's let it come out, Emily, let it come out.
Yeah.
And that's what your journey will look like as you start to peel back the layers. So it doesn't stop. Doesn't matter what company you're the head of, what empire you are running, what magazine you are throwing out there. It doesn't stop. Maybe we'll get to the point one day where we get the majority of it cleared out. I'm at this point, I'm like, what the hell else be in there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I call it like emotional hoarding. I liken it often to people who you go through something, you put it in a box, you hide it in the back of the closet. Eventually, your whole house is newspapers stacked this high and boxes full of your emotional crap that you haven't dealt with. And you're living in one tiny room in the front of your mind, one tiny little room, and going, I don't understand why I can't have real relationships. And I don't understand why I'm not overcoming this stuff, because your whole house is filled with these little boxes. And sometimes it's purposeful. Sometimes it's completely without realizing it, like yours was, and it just pops itself back up. But that's one of the reasons why another key to freedom is to know thyself. You have to know your own emotions. You have to understand how your own mind works. And there are people who cannot sit in their own thoughts. And that was why that silence show was so powerful, because it's about literally sitting in your own thoughts without becoming victim to them.
Yeah. Well, can I share a little bit about that? I'll just get really vulnerable with you guys and invite you to recognize this is a space we're creating for this level of super vulnerability. But many of you guys know that I spent 20 years in Hollywood before I did this. I was that story of the young girl from the Midwest. Literally, I grew up in a town of 3,000 people. I went to Mizzou for 2 years, could not stand it there. Quit school, hightailed it to Hollywood to pursue acting, which I had really never done school plays or anything before. So I had shocked a lot of people. I mean, I always kind of was this personality that you see here, right? But never really a thespian, so to speak. And so now here I am in Hollywood. I spent 20 years in Hollywood. And when I was 26 years old, this was when I got probably one of the bigger breaks in my career. Now, I had very high esteem for myself moving to Hollywood. I dove in. I got great agents. I dove into the best acting classes. I was in there, right? My agents would call me and send me out for soap operas, and I'd be like, this is not why I came to Hollywood. I wouldn't even go on them at first. I was so diva. And then I did go on a couple, and there was one soap opera in particular that really liked me. They'd call me back all the time. They had offered me several different roles, and I turned them down. I was like, no, I'd rather wait tables than do soap operas. So that's the soap opera history. I fall in love with this young, handsome actor, ex-athlete. We're together for a really long time. He's coming to the table with a lot of his emotional hurt. And he wasn't in a space where he was ready to get married. Now, here's societal conditioning. If this man doesn't ask me to marry him and I've been with him for this long, he must not really love me. Right. All this shit's going off in my mind, right? So I decide I've been on birth control. I told you this is going to get vulnerable. I've been on birth control for a long time. I decide I need my body to work how it works naturally. Bullshit. I was pregnant in 10 minutes with it. So I had arranged things. I don't take no for an answer. That's actually why I stole the Twizzlers when I was 5. I know it's so clear. So I arranged this so that I would have this level of connection with this man that I loved that I felt like I wasn't getting.
Yeah.
So when I was 26, I had our first child, Jack. We were not married. The soap opera comes calling and says, hey, we have a really high profile position. See there, I got to switch back to the lingo. Role. We know that you had the baby. We know that you're probably not wanting to keep waiting tables. Would you consider this role now? And I did. I took the role, sold out in my heart and gut. I grew up very small town Midwest, immersed in the Southern Baptist Church. It was not the right thing to do to have a baby out of wedlock. So I had that shame that was building within me. Right. I had the shit from from Mike that I felt like I had to show up like this to make sure that I could attach myself to him. I wish I would have known about non-attachments then, but I'm learning. Right? So I take this job. It's these undercurrents are building, but yet I'm rolling with it. I'm like, all right, I'll be a soap star now. For Christmas, this happened right around Christmas time. I get everybody back in my hometown Soap Opera Digest magazine so they can follow along with the new Bridget Forrester. It wasn't 3 months before they are trashing me in this magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I did not go over well. I went over like a turd in a punch bowl, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first day on set, Lee. Now, I had spent quite a bit of time in Hollywood. I had done a lot. I'd worked with a lot of big actors. I had my own trailer. I had never had my own I had my own dressing room. The same stage where Price is Right is. I walk by the big wheel going down. I'm this small town girl. I'm like feeling it now, right? My very first day, there is a line of press to come into my room to interview me after my first day.
Yeah.
Never had that before. They all want to know about this new baby that I have. So now all of a sudden I have to spin this story about how amazing this new baby with my boyfriend, who's not really my husband. That was not authentically me, but I had to keep playing the role.
Right.
Right? I had truly always seen myself in this relationship being the breadwinner, and I thought that I was okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But here I am, not married, have this new baby, trying to fit in with this new soap opera. Mike quit his job because I was making plenty of money to support us. That was not okay with me in my heart and gut. And I'm like, shit, what is going on? Stuff.
Right.
And it's not a few months before I get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's how I got fired, by the way. They slowly start pulling my storyline back and back and back. So everybody's like, why aren't you on the show anymore? We're watching you every day. Why aren't you? So I'm making up. They're going to bring me back. They're going to bring me back. I'm having lunch one day with one of my very, very dear friends. And he was asking me about like what's going on the show. And I'm telling him, he's like, don't worry, Em, they're going to bring you back. You're so good, this and that. And really like encouraging me. And there was a ring at the doorbell. And so I go and answer the door, and it's this huge bouquet of flowers. Mm-hmm. Beautiful bouquet of flowers. And this card, and I open it up and I read it. And it's from the producers of Bold and the Beautiful. And it basically says, you're fired. We're recasting the role. And my friend says, oh, who are the flowers from? And I said, oh, they're from the producers of Bold and the Beautiful. And he says, well, what does it say? And I said, oh, it says exactly what you said. They're going to bring me back later. And I set the card down. Oh, it still comes up. And as soon as he walked, and not because I missed Bold and the Beautiful, but because I didn't want to do that from the beginning, as I told you. Mm-hmm. But as soon as he walked out the door, I just collapsed to the floor.
Yeah.
And I had never dealt with any of that. And it like, honestly, there was so much shame and humiliation and not speaking my truth and having to cover who I was.
Yeah.
That seriously, until the last blue moon, when we did the shamanic journeying here at the Academy, the goal of that journey was to find the direct path to your highest, most authentic self, which requires peeling away your shit. Mm-hmm. And it's taken me this long to build the muscle, the skill, the self-love to be able to look at that, to let that come out, to be able to just be with that. Mm-hmm. I haven't been able to be with that story.
Right. Yeah. Your shit has come up.
And I'm shedding it and I'm getting free from it.
Yeah.
But it's deep work and it requires a high level of consciousness to be able to not judge yourself and to keep your vessel clear enough that you can see and allow this stuff to come up without reattaching to it.
Right.
But the peeling back of this and the shedding of the layers that's required to find true freedom is some of the toughest work that you'll ever do.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, the very best advice I can give anyone is that through that process, as you peel back and you see something about yourself, like Emily has just described, where she was ashamed of her choices, where it worked out in a particular way that kind of brought it right to her face. This is not you. This is not what you were supposed to do. Da 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 da. And she pushed that down and kept it moving, which most people would say, hey, that's the thing to do. Now we're going back to it and we're peeling this up. And the best advice that I could give anyone is to love yourself through that, support yourself through that, be your own best friend. When you're peeling that back, if you have to pretend that you are a separate person from the person who went through that so that you can give the person who went through that a hug and that comfort, just like they're sitting on your couch and your best friend is telling you that story, that is what's going to help you to take that experience and to heal it, because you are not getting the condemnation of judgment. Rather, you are getting the liberation of being loved through it.
Yes.
You made a mistake. You made a choice. It took you down a particular road. Maybe it wasn't right for you, but you know what? I'm still with you. I still love you. I still support you. You know, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes wrong turns. It's okay. Sometimes the wrong turn is the right turn. You know, like, you have to be there for yourself, because that is what starts to break those shackles, is that self-validation, that self-connection, that self-love.
And guess what? I don't create karma like that anymore, because, like you said, when you quiet the mind, when you quiet the emotions, the true authentic Emily, I am always me, regardless of the data that's going on and going in, regardless the soap opera, the relationship, the thoughts, it's all data. It's all data coming in and being processed through my holographic machine here, my projector. The authentic Emily is still the same.
Yeah.
And being able to peel back those layers to get to that space, that's big. That's big shit. That's a big journey that you go on. But here's what I've learned. Because I've learned that it's data, that I am who I am regardless. And I know how to quiet my mind, and I know how to quiet my emotions. It creates an opportunity for me to receive instant feedback from the universe, where I know in a second, oh, wait, that is just, I got to let that move through my body, or I'm going to hold that. When we truly shift up into the 5D, where love and acceptance of yourself is your baseline resonance, you'll no longer create the karmic waves, and you won't have all this shit to go back and peel away anymore.
Right. And even if it's there, we now have tools. And I talk about this a lot in my shows, Healing with Time Travel, where we may be reticent to go back to that place we were 20 years ago, right? Because all of that pain comes right back up, especially if it's something with abuse or something that has really scarred in an obvious way. And we feel like, I'm not going back there. I'm not dealing with that anymore. You know, like, we get in our space. I already dealt with that. I moved on. I move forward. Here's the thing. When we go back to that, we are no longer diving naked into the pool of pain, because now we have a scuba suit. Now we have an oxygen tank. Now we have a spear. Now we're going in there prepared to deal with the pain that we went through. And that's one of the amazing things about this. This will go make it full circle, because I like to do that on this show. All time happens all the time. So you can literally go back to those moments and heal them in a way that now affects your present. That pattern that you were in when you were in your 20s created an entire, you know, you cannot change what the outcome was, but it continued to attract that same issue to you over and over and over again in different faces. But when we can go back with our new tools, we start to heal that. And it doesn't come back in that same way anymore.
No, and these tools, they get me all excited. The Akashic Record it's like my cosmic guide for tools. I go in, there are specific protocols that I use. When you find an area of your past like this, I'll just share. Normally I said, this is the good stuff that you guys got to pay for. I'll just share. You can do this on yourself. When you find that space, let's say you find your year number 26, go back and just in your mind and heart, allow yourself to call up the energy within your body. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but just like, it's okay. It's okay. And hold light on yourself. And what will begin to happen? Light is knowledge. It is illumination. Everything in the energy vibrational frequency is vibrational frequency. Okay. Sound stores and transfers knowledge. So does light. Call in light with the intention and consciousness of being the white, healing, forgiving light. And not only will you shift you forward and backward through time, but you'll shift the memory, and everyone that was connected to that experience will receive a certain measure of healing.
Right.
And I learned this from the Akashic Records. My masters, teachers, and guides shared this protocol with me. This is one of the tools. There are lots of tools that we already know and understand. We've got tapping, we've got Reiki, we've got yoga, we've got Qigong, all kinds of things that you can do. And we can continue to make up more. When I found this year number 26 going on, this required a protocol for me that was beyond just going holding a little light. All right. Spirit actually gave me such a distinct step-by-step protocol to use that I actually created a research group and ran a research group to experiment with this new healing technique and protocol. And we've had really profound results. So find your tool, reach out to somebody. You're not meant to do this by yourself. Our healing is a collaborative process. And everyone who comes together to heal together, we're in soul contract to do that with each other. Reach out. We're soul contracted to show up and help you.
Right. It's absolutely, it still boggles my mind, to be honest with you, when I get in these spaces of, holy crap, that's been affecting me my whole damn life. It's still affecting me and I didn't even know it. And that's one of these things that other person is able to give you that insight about yourself sometimes that we will refuse to see. And just a tiny bit, I've shared a lot about this journey that I've been on of feeling unloved and unwanted, and just having always this damaged, broken thing that I've had worked through and am still working through, but much better than I was. But I was working with, he was actually a chiropractor who does a little bit of energy healing and stuff. And he put a new word on it. And it's a word that I had never put on those feelings, because the words that I was using were always things that I affected. I feel unloved. I felt unwanted. I felt broken. It didn't include anyone else. But the word that he put on it was abandonment. And by putting that new word on it, it literally I went, holy crap. Like I would never even put that on someone else, not as a blame, but I wouldn't even put that in my, in my radar, that word where someone else had that effect on me. And yet, as soon as I did, I recognized, holy crap, I'm living in fear of abandonment right now. And I didn't even realize it. Like I'm literally living in that space of fear without even knowing that it is affecting me and that it's connected to this birth thing that happened when I was born. So like, it is so amazing to have that extra person, to have that extra. Isn't there something also in the Bible about when you pray in twos, I will come to you?
Two or more gathered in his name, baby.
There you go. So that's
I told you I grew up in church.
There you go. See, I did not. So, it's very obvious. But so since we were talking about the Akashic Academy and the exclusive group, why don't you go ahead and share with the people who are watching, since we are well past our time. But I am the director. So, there's no one on after me until later. So
yes,
tell our viewers about the Akashic Academy, what they're getting inside the exclusive group, because y'all, that is the place to be if you want to be able to do all of this stuff.
Inside of our exclusive group, we focus on the rise of light workers, giving you the training that is required to continue this growth. Not only do we heal, but we expand, we grab onto new gifts and skills. We do that by heading out with our body, mind, and spirit getting strong, all right? So we get 3 exclusive workshops every single week. Just our academy, we get that time together. Starts out on Monday with Coach Nick in Mindful Living. And if you haven't had an experience of hanging with Coach Nick, he really brings a down-to-earth, very practical application of the spiritual knowledge. He is he's not hella woo-woo. I'm the one that's hella woo-woo. I would say he's more of what you would consider a traditionally wise spiritual leader. He is very indoctrinated into the Vedic principles, and he's able to apply those. He's also really good at bringing in practices that you might not be familiar with. I don't know how many of you guys chant, how many of you guys roll your fingers along the mala beads. It's a really beautiful experience to open yourself to other practices. And Coach Nick brings that to us in Mindful Living. Every Wednesday is intuitive development, specifically geared to open and expand your intuition, to expand your psychic gifts and skills, to help make you more magical. We've just been working on the Hermetic principles, understanding these 7 ancient principles of self-mastery. And when you do, your universe becomes very malleable. It becomes very easy to work within the laws of the cosmos. We're also working on alchemy of color, giving you guys tools that are going to help make you more magical as you show up and do your work. And we've recently added Sifu Boggy, and I am so excited that he is joining us with the Tai Chi elixir, because the embodiment, the physical practice is so important. And Tai Chi was something that was incredibly, it was a gateway for me. I did not know it at the time, but early on in my career, back in those Los Angeles days when I was slinging hash at that Beverly Hills restaurant, Stevie Wonder's bodyguard is a gentleman named Love Brecourt. Big, beautiful, Adonis man. He was a Chinese doctor, very studied in Chinese medicine, wanted to meditate all day long. He would have to pull himself out of meditation, and he would come into our restaurant late at night. He offered to start training any one of us who wanted to learn in Tai Chi Qigong in this beautiful Pan-Hellenic Park, big round amphitheater space in LA. Mm-hmm. I showed up and worked with him, and I could feel like things shifting and changing in me. Did not know everything that was aligning at that time, but this is a powerful ancient practice, and I'm so happy to give it to the members of our academy. That's what you get every single week. We also do new and full moon ceremonies every month, so you get to engage in sacred ritual and tune into the cosmos to begin to chart and harness and focus your growth. When we begin to pay attention to the celestial bodies that are energetically participating, creating spaces for us to let go of in certain areas and to expand in certain areas, when we come together collectively and set that intention in space, it's powerful. I believe that's one of the reasons that our members are thriving so much, is because this growth is charted within our natural cycles. $44.44 a month. However, you may try it out for your first month at $4.44 with no obligation to continue. Lee, did you put the link up there for them so they can dive in?
I will put the link up afterwards. Yes, I will. Oh, the link up afterwards. Right there, the AkashicAcademy.com.
No. I mean, I'm gonna put. I have a link that I'm gonna put in for you right here. This link right here, when you click on it, guys, you're going to get a cool little activation experience from me. It's less than 2 minutes. It releases ancient wisdom from your bones. It is magical. Then you are going to receive a video tour of the Akashic Academy. And when you receive that video tour, it's going to explain how you tune in, where all the information is. We published this before we added Sifu Boggy, so you will not see those amazing Tai Chi classes on this video tour that I shared, but you will get them inside of the Academy, and I'm posting that link for you right now.
Beautiful. And I would like to add, I would definitely like to add this. There's conversations going on while we're here chatting, while you're talking about this. And this is one of the reasons that I love being here at the Academy so much, is because Cindy and Georgia are connecting in the comments. Brittany and Jason is talking about how happy she is to have been here today.
Thank you, guys.
Cindy and Georgia are just amazing, amazing ladies. And Rhonda was here, Kenzel Mitchell, Dyra, Jasmine, Nancy Louise, Linda, all of these people who have this amazing community now. And I think that is the thing that's so exciting to me about this space, is because it's that opportunity to really connect. Mm-hmm. And I think that as much as we poo-poo technology, I also love it for this very reason, because we're able to connect. You know, the chances of you finding, how many do we have? 13,000 followers right now. The chances of finding 13,000 people in your hometown that are like-minded are slim to none, unless you live in a population of over something, you know, a million something. But here, literally any person on one of these lives is a like-minded person, just like you.
Yes.
Just like you. And someone that's going to understand when you say something to them, like you were just saying, you know, the cosmic frequencies today are really messing me up. You know, if you say that to someone at the grocery store, they're going to go, okay, let me call my manager here. She's talking about the cosmos. You know, I mean, but here people get it. Like they get it.
Yes.
You know? And
Get
that's what I love about this, is that you can be as woo and as weird as you want to. I could talk about my spitting light language experiences here if I wanted to. I don't, but I could if I wanted to, and everyone would go, yay! You know, they would cheer you on. So it's beautiful to have a community that cheers you on no matter how woo-woo you get, you know?
It is. It is. Thank you all. And thank you for being a part of this community and building it here together. It's really, it's exciting. I wake up somewhere between 4 and 5 almost every morning, excited to go into I literally have to make myself do something besides go to work first thing in the morning because I know you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, I guess that we should go ahead and wrap it up. We did an hour today. That's okay. I don't mind. You know, I would sit here and run my mouth for a long, long time. If it was up to me, I'd be on 4 hours a day and just yap, 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 yap. It does not take much for me to start talking.
I love the conversation. I could sit and talk and just riff with you. I feel like we're just sitting here jamming, riffing, and playing. And Facebook was down yesterday. There was all kinds of crazy things happening. I don't know if Facebook was totally down, but the lives weren't happening. It was a struggle to get on, and everybody missed their chance to hang out at the Academy, so we had to give them a little extra today.
There you go. All right, that's good.
All right,
you guys can always find me right here on Thursdays at 10 a.m. And the link to find out more is right over there. Oh, and there is a summit coming up. I don't know any of the details because I hear nothing about it, but I saw it on the page.
Yes.
So if you want to do a quick little thing on the summit before we sign out, that would be lovely.
Well, this will actually be the first announcement of the summit because we are still putting the pieces together.
Gotcha.
This is designed to be an uplifting, unleashing of magic, releasing divine magic. The eclipse season, which started earlier this week, is going to continue throughout the summer. And the energy that we're going to be experiencing are tuning into your authentic self, and that divine feminine is rising. She's not rising with anger. She is rising with compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Passion, when it, wait, I forgot that my Sifu told me this, and the language is so beautiful. I want to get it exactly right. Passion, when it's cultivated, becomes compassion. When it's raw energy, everything has its raw and its cultivated state. Passion is a raw energy, okay? Compassion is a cultivated energy.
Mm-hmm.
Your divine feminine is rising, cultivated, aligned, ready to show up and do her work, his work. And that's what this summit is all about. It's bringing together our network hosts, and we're asking them to create a specific program that will help you to unleash this magic. It's coming up on July 20th. Stay tuned to the Academy. We'll be blasting out a lot more information about this, but it's going to be a pretty magical event and specifically designed to help you harness the energies of the eclipse season.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very woo-woo and exciting.
Very woo-woo.
So like I said, you can always find me here on Thursdays. I also have a page called Unleash Your Light. I have a group called Unleash Your Light. I have a website, unleashyourlight.org. I do YouTube videos. You can always find me all over the place. I am not hard to find. I also have lots of room for friends. So you are certainly welcome to come on over to my page, be my personal friend. I post lots of goofy stuff. Recently, I was posting pictures from my little getaway up in the mountains, my little pictures of the ferry, all kinds of good stuff going on. I know
it's crazy.
It's
That was awesome.
I was like, oh, I noticed it at like 2 a.m. I'm like, there's no one awake that I can call. I have to call someone. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I cannot wait to be back here next Thursday. Next Thursday, when I am here, July 11th, that is my birthday, you guys. So it used to be that I ignored my birthday every year, but 3 years ago, I decided I'm going to start celebrating my birthday with me. And I don't care if anyone else celebrates it. So I'm going to celebrate my birthday on the air with you guys. I'll sing to myself and feed myself a gluten-free cake right in front of you. So
that's awesome.
All right, beautiful. Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys. Thank you so much, Emily, for coming on. You are welcome anytime. You are the only guest that I have ever had on the show, and you will continue to be the only guest that I ever had on the show.
That's so good.
Okay, I love you guys so much.
Love you guys.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.